So today I wanted to talk about NASCAR group qualifying. This has been a topic that I've wanted to talk about for a while, and I want you guys' input as well. Quickly, let's just get right into it. And if you haven't been following NASCAR and you're for some reason watching this video, then I'll explain everything that has been going on and what looks like will happen, how we got here, what the problem was, and then what the solution could be, or what I think the solution could be, and what NASCAR might do about it. So it all started with the 2019 Aero package. The new package came in. It had drafting in play. Nothing was different in qualifying. Qualifying, there was nothing different. We still had group qualifying that we've had since, I think, 2014, 2015, whenever group qualifying decided to come in. It's been a few years now that group qualifying has been around, and nobody has a problem with group qualifying, really. I think I could speak for a lot of the fans that group qualifying was praised. It was a good idea. F1 has had it for a while. NASCAR kind of adopted their own way of doing group qualifying with the knockout rounds and having the time limit, and then cars could go out on track and do whatever they want, put down the laps, and it was good. So we enter 2019 with a different aero package that now has less horsepower, and you want to do drafting and you want to do all that, and that's what you do in the race. But in qualifying, especially at tracks like a 1.5-mile track, where now drafting determines a lot of the who makes the fastest speed, it really changed group qualifying, and it didn't go well, as you can see by Atlanta, and then also what happened at the other few tracks. It didn't go well at all. So basically what was happening was drivers were doing and teams were doing what they had to do, and this is something that I feel like NASCAR doesn't understand sometimes. The drivers and the teams had to go as fast as they possibly could. That's what group qualifying or qualifying is. You put down the fastest lap you possibly can, and you have to figure out how to do that. With the new aero package that has 550 horsepower and all this downforce, and now drafting plays a big part in everything, teams have to get a pole. They have to get some sort of draft from another car. And so nobody is going to go first, because everybody knows that will not get you the fastest lap. And so this is what happened. People just waited on pit road. Atlanta was by far the most dangerous version of it. Luckily, they fixed it afterwards, where there was no pit speed limit. So people were just flying down pit road. That wasn't smart. So NASCAR changed that. But we still had this issue of people just waiting around until there's 2 minutes on the clock, or even a minute and a half on the clock. It got really bad at Auto Club, where fans started booing at the track, where nobody made or was able to make a time in the final round because everyone waited too long. And now these are just the games that teams are playing, because someone has to go first, and then everyone else will follow. And that's what's been going on. And NASCAR, Steve O'Donnell, some of the execs were trying to say they weren't pleased about it, but also tried to do some damage control and say, we just need to do some tweaks, have a few tweaks on it. And so one of their changes came at Richmond. And Richmond is not really a drafting track, though. So we haven't really seen how it plays at a drafting track yet. I think we're going to see it at Kansas. But they just decided to make qualifying 5 minutes for each round. That doesn't fix anything when it comes to the drafting, because, again, time does not matter in this scenario. It doesn't matter if you made a qualifying round 15 minutes. It doesn't matter if you made a qualifying round 3 minutes. No matter what, the teams and drivers will wait at, let's say, an Auto Club or Atlanta, whatever, a 1.5-mile track. Teams and drivers will wait as long as they need to for someone to go out first, and then everyone will follow, and it'll be one little pack. So this is the qualifying issue that NASCAR has. It is not fun. It's very, very poor and very terrible. So how the problem happened was just doing nothing. It naturally and organically happened through the way the aero package came about. There was no issue with the group qualifying format. The format itself, not a problem whatsoever. It is the issue of trying to merge the package with this format, and now you have basically an identity crisis for what you're trying to get. So that is the problem. How big of a problem it is, it's a pretty big problem, because it makes the sport look like a joke. And Darrell Waltrip said it himself. It makes NASCAR look bad, it makes TV look bad, and it makes everyone look bad. And so where I find it hard to believe that when you go through the entire offseason and you go through all these talks about this aero package and how it maybe would affect qualifying. I find it hard to believe they didn't see this coming. I'm talking about NASCAR as a sanctioning body, because you would have known drafting was going to play a part in qualifying, and you would have known that teams would not want to go out first. So, I mean, in hindsight's a weird thing, but I feel like after all the discussions, meetings that they must have had, I find it really hard to believe they didn't see this becoming an issue. But it became an issue very quickly, and it still hasn't been resolved. So, how do you resolve the issue of qualifying? Well, in a perfect world, we would still have group qualifying. I think, like I said, many fans very much enjoy qualifying and group qualifying. F1 has done it very well. F1's looking at a way to change their qualifying as well, because it's not, I guess not perfect for them. But their qualifying is very well. It's group qualifying. You have 3 sessions. You have a time clock. Time session is the same for each session, about 12 to 15 minutes. But the difference with F1 is that they have an identity. Their aero package has not really been different. You used to just go out and you run your lap and you come back in. They also have different tire compounds as well. So you have multiple tires that you can use. So you go out on one set, come back in, go out another set. As this goes on, there's strategy played in play as well. Let's say for Q2, if one of Ferrari or Mercedes doesn't do well in Q2, they have to use an extra set of tires that affects them in Q3, because now they only have one run in Q3. So there is strategy in this as well. Q3 becomes very, very exciting because you have one run at the beginning of the session. You get a shootout style. Everyone comes back in, puts on a new set of tires, and then you get one last run at the end of the session. A lot of excitement, a lot of things happening during the qualifying session. Not like NASCAR, where we sit on pit road and wait for someone to make a move, and that's not how it's supposed to be. And the reason why I bring up F1 is because the NASCAR executives have openly said that, Formula One is sort of an inspiration for the group qualifying. They see what they do over there. It is good. It is fun, and I completely agree with that. But they doesn't work in NASCAR with the current aero package that they desire. A big problem that they have to address, and this is something that I definitely want to talk about, is how far are you willing to go? If we had, the line here. This is one side of the line. Here's the other side of the line. This is sport, and this is entertainment. NASCAR has made it very clear. They are drifting over here to entertainment. They want a show. How far are you willing to go to sacrifice the integrity of your sport to get a show? Because that's what this package, combined with the qualifying that we have, is. It is searching and hoping for a show and entertainment, and just completely forgetting the sports side, which is, hey, let the guys who work endless hours in the garage or back at the shops at all these race teams who build these magnificent race cars, and they just so much hard work goes into it, only to just throw them out into a group qualifying and just wait for basically chess games. That's like, come on. So to go back to the sports side, here's the solution. It's single car qualifying. A lot of people have talked about single car qualifying, and that would be going backwards, technically, in a way, because group qualifying was good and innovative, and it did help NASCAR. So going back to single car qualifying would kind of be a step back. Single car qualifying is really good. There's no issues with it. It's just there are better ways to do qualifying, i.e. group qualifying. But with the current package, technically, single car qualifying is the only way you can kind of go as for a solution. You do get back to the sports side of things. The biggest issue with the single car qualifying is that teams are going to be asked to really push the limits of how they make their race cars, in terms of, we need it to go really fast by itself, but we also need it to be really fast in a group, in a pack. It becomes that issue that, kind of teams deal with at Daytona and Talladega, where you'll see the Penske guys kind of sacrifice single car speed, and then they'll be really good in the race because their cars are very good through traffic. So you don't want that issue either, because that lends a lot of weird kind of conundrums on the teams, where you're asking them to build really very weird race cars that can go very fast by themselves and then be very fast in a pack. And with the dirty air and how it goes, that's not necessarily going to happen a lot. So single car qualifying is a fix. It's not the best fix, but what is a fix? How do you fix this? And what I think will happen, in my honest opinion, is I do think they'll go back to single car qualifying, kind of like a rapid fire kind of style, where you go from slowest to fastest in order. And a lot of the benefits come from this. Everyone in the back of the pack who doesn't get as much TV time, even mid cars that don't get a lot of TV time during group qualifying because everyone's kind of focused on all these cars, Every car gets TV time for their sponsors, for themselves, for whatever. They get what they need. They run their lap, and then it kind of just quickly goes. You get every fan gets to focus on one driver, and a lot of fans have their favorite driver, and they'd like to focus on their favorite driver. Something group qualifying does currently is that you sometimes cannot focus on your favorite driver. If you are a fan of Clint Bowyer, maybe the only time you see Clint Bowyer is on the bottom right of the screen where it shows the timer and his name. But you don't actually see him on track. So sometimes it's good for the fans to be able to see their favorite driver. So that is a benefit of single car / rapid fire qualifying. Group qualifying can come back. The only way it can come back, though, is NASCAR would have to change the aero package, which it doesn't seem like they are willing to do, and that's not the direction that they will go in. So you can't have group qualifying with a drafting package. There's no changes or manipulations you can make to the format to get the teams to stop trying to make the fastest lap, and that only way to make the fastest lap is to be drafting. There's no way to do that. You cannot give teams extra sets of tires either, because as NASCAR knows, and as many of the fans know, tires cost a lot of money, and NASCAR is not in a position like F1 can do and just spend tons of money. Tires cost a lot. Giving teams 3, 4, 5 sets of tires to use during qualifying is not okay. It's too much money, too much cost. It's not going to happen. So you see where the issue lies. You see how much of a problem it can be with NASCAR qualifying, and it's a shame that it has come to this, because qualifying is it's an absolute joke right now. And no matter what they do, NASCAR loves to listen to its fans, and fans are very vocal. I've personally seen a ton of people say go back to single car qualifying, but it's not like fans were upset with group qualifying. I bet if we had a poll, I think people would choose group qualifying over single car qualifying if done properly. But again, this aero package has caused a lot of issues. I don't agree with the direction that they are going, and this is one of the problems that it brings, is that it really affects qualifying and affects the integrity of the sport. It makes it look really bad. Really bad. I mean, like, it's like clowns at a circus going in circles. That's what qualifying has looked like in 2019 at Atlanta, Las Vegas, Auto Club, tracks like that. It is not good at all. So how we had the problem? The package. What are we going to do about the problem? Probably single car qualifying. That really is the only thing I could think of. What do you guys think? Comment down below. What would be your solution? Do you think single car qualifying is the way we go? Is it rapid fire qualifying, which is single file qualifying, but you only get one lap, and as soon as the car takes the green flag, you send another car out, so there's always 2 cars on the track at one time. That's what happens at Daytona and Talladega, basically, if you don't know what I'm talking about. Is there another form of qualifying you have? Not group, not single, but is there something else that you can think of that would be a better form of qualifying? I just thought about it. Heat races. Would you want heat races? Would you want a race in qualifying to determine the order of the race, which is, the dirt style of way of doing it? I don't think I would do that, but if you have the current aero package where you have to have, or it's always catered to a race style, it technically could be the only way to get a group style qualifying. You would have to make it into a 15-lap heat race probably. And that is something that I've heard fans, throw out there, but for me, I wouldn't do that. Qualifying is about setting the fastest lap, and I don't see a heat race being a good way to determine qualifying. It does go around to certain issues of, hey, we have to build transformer cars and, make them go really fast in a single by itself and then really fast in the race. It fixes that problem, because then you just got to work on your car being fast in the pack. But not probably the way I would go. But again, what would be your solution to this issue? While I'm making this videos, I don't want to just be like, oh, NASCAR qualifying sucks. It's so bad. I hate it so much. NASCAR, you're so stupid. No, I'm not doing that. I'm saying, well, it does suck, but how do you fix it? What's the way to fix it? And right now, they're in a little bit of a trouble spot with, we really want to do this race package. Oh, qualifying. We got a problem. So that is the video. If you guys like the video, make sure you hit the like button, please. I would really appreciate it. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you're not already. Again, comment down below with all your opinions on group qualifying and how it could go, and fixes and all the issues that's been going on with it. I want to make more of these kind of videos where I talk about certain subjects within the sport. So keep an eye out for that. And go on to the channel, check out whatever you want. It's nice to be back. I'll see you guys later. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Enjoy the weekend. Peace out.
I can't change, even if I tried, even if I wanted to, and I can't change, even if I tried. My love, she keeps me warm.